the night grows quiet, and the stars lean closer. In this gentle space, we journey back through time, where ancient women were seen as divine, as mothers of creation, protectors of the hearth, and whispers of the sacred mysteries. These stories are not told in haste. They are like rivers, flowing slowly, carrying us to temples lit by fire, caves painted with symbols, and deserts where goddesses once walked among the stars. Let us drift unhurried into the heart of forgotten traditions, where every divine woman held the power to soothe, to heal, and to bless. If this journey brings you peace tonight, let your heart be still and your breath be light. You may share in the comments where you are listening from, or gently subscribe, so more of these calming stories can find you whenever you need rest. The night is still. Above, the sky opens wide like a deep blue ocean stretching into forever. The stars wait there, countless and shimmering, each one glowing like a soft lantern carried by the wind of eternity. You rest beneath this sky. Your breath slows. Your body sinks into quietness. And as your eyelids grow heavy, you begin to drift into the oldest of stories. Stories of the first mothers who once gave light to the heavens, long ago before the rivers flowed, before mountains rose, before a single tree stretched its arms to the sun. There was silence, a silence so deep it felt endless, but in that silence there was also a pulse, a gentle rhythm, like a heart waiting to be born. From this silent rhythm the first mother stirred. She was not of flesh nor of bone, she was breath, she was song, she was the warm shadow of love that curls around all things. Some said she lived in the darkness before time. Others believed she was the darkness itself, dreaming of light. In her dream, she inhaled deeply, and when she breathed out, her breath scattered across the nothingness as 1,000 tiny sparks. The first stars, lanterns for the sky. Imagine her breath still floating above you now. Each twinkle in the night, each shining point, is a piece of that first exhale. The stars hum softly, as if remembering the sound of her voice. The universe holds her lullaby, stretching endlessly, wrapping you in its calm embrace. The first mother did not hurry. Time had not yet been woven. She drifted through her own creation, moving as gently as the moonlight on a river. Where she passed, galaxies unfolded like blossoms. Where she touched, light grew, soft and eternal. Her children were not only stars. They were rivers of starlight flowing into spirals, into clusters, into worlds unborn. Every spark held a seed of warmth, a memory of her embrace. In many lands, people remembered her differently. Some called her the Sky Mother. Some named her the Lady of Silence. Others whispered of her as the Infinite Womb, carrying all things that would ever be. But every name spoke of the same truth, that love came before all things. That light was born from care. Think of the way a candle burns in the night, chasing away shadows. Think of the way a mother holds a child, breathing softly, keeping them safe. These are echoes of her, the first mother, the one whose breath still drifts through the cosmos. As you lie here now, imagine her presence close. Not heavy, not loud, but tender, like a hand of starlight resting near your own. She leans over you, her voice not made of words but of warmth. She tells you that you are part of her dream, that you too are a spark of her breath. Above, the stars shimmer a little brighter as if nodding to her truth. The galaxies curve around her story, weaving their spiral arms like threads in a great tapestry. And in that tapestry every soul is held, every breath is remembered. In one tale, the first mother shaped her stars as seeds. She scattered them across the black soil of space and waited for them to bloom. Some grew into suns, warming the dark with golden fire. Some grew into moons, pale and watchful, guiding wanderers in the night. Others became constellations, patterns to teach her children the paths of heaven. When the people of Earth looked up, they saw not only stars. They saw the memory of her hands, arranging the sky like beads upon a necklace. Each constellation became a story. Each story, a reminder of her gift. The hunter, the lion, the swan, the maiden, all were drawn upon the sky so no one would forget the first mother's presence. Even now, when you gaze upward, you see the same map. Her story never vanished. It only glows quietly, waiting for tired eyes to find rest beneath it. There is a saying from the old ones, that the stars are the eyes of the mother, watching her children as they dream. Every flicker is her gaze, every twinkle is her heartbeat, and so when you look up, you are not alone. You are held gently by a gaze that has no end. Her light travels across millions of years. yet it still reaches you now. It arrives quietly, slipping through your window, resting upon your skin like silver dew. Her light does not rush. It moves slowly, peacefully, as if it knows that every moment is already enough. You are already enough. You are already held. The first mother was also called the Weaver. With her hands of night, she spun threads of light. These threads became the bonds between stars, the invisible lines that tie all things together. Close your eyes. Picture those threads drifting around you now, fine and glowing. They wrap you not in chains, but in comfort. They bind you to the stars, to the earth, to the gentle breath in your chest. You are part of her weaving. Every heartbeat, every sigh, is another thread placed upon the loom of creation. And when you rest, her loom does not stop. It continues to hum softly, stitching dreams to the stars, stitching peace to your body. The ancients said that her voice could not be forgotten. Even when time covered her stories in dust, her song lingered in the air. They believed the wind was her whisper. They believed the ocean was her breath returning. And when they sang to remember her melody. Tonight you may hear it too, not as words but as calm, not as sound but as stillness, a lullaby hidden in the quiet of the night. Let it settle over you. Let it carry you deeper like a soft current, drawing you further into the sea of sleep. Sometimes the first mother was painted as a woman with stars in her hair. Each strand shimmered, flowing behind her like a river of diamonds. Her eyes were the sun and moon. Her smile was the dawn rising over a world newly born, but she was never far away. She was in the soil, in the rivers, in the breath of every living thing. To touch the earth was to touch her. To look at the sky was to see her face reflected in endless ways. You carry her also, a small spark hidden deep, shining quietly. It lights your path. It softens your nights, and even in sleep it glows on. Now the stars above seem closer. They lean gently over the horizon, like guardians keeping watch. Their light is steady, their comfort never fades. The first mother of stars lingers with you tonight. Her story is not hurried. It stretches like the sky itself, without end, without boundary. And as you sink deeper into rest, her presence wraps you softly, like a blanket of night, like a cradle of light. Her song hums gently, weaving through your dreams, guiding you toward stillness. The same song that gave birth to the heavens now whispers to your heart. The night continues. The stars remain, and the mother watches. Now you drift calmly, safely. The stories of creation fade into quiet light. Your breath slows, steady as the tide. Your mind softens like sand beneath the waves. Rest in her embrace. Rest in the sky that was born of love. Rest in the light of the first mother, the one whose breath gave birth to stars, and let us drift onward, deeper into sleep, as the stars return and the night carries you home. The night holds you gently. The stars above are steady, watching like quiet guardians. The air is cool and still, carrying only the softest breath of wind. In this deep calm, your mind drifts back, far back, into the ancient dawn of the world, where stone and earth rose together, shaping temples that honored the Great Mother. Imagine the island of Malta. The sea surrounds it, endless and blue. Waves move slowly against the shore, like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. Here, thousands of years ago, hands of stonecutters carved great temples. They built them not with haste, but with reverence. Each rock was placed as an offering, each wall as a prayer. Within these stone sanctuaries, the earth goddess was honored. She was the giver of bread. She was the keeper of soil. She was the endless womb that nourished all. The people saw her in every seed, every harvest, every breath of the wind that swept across their fields. Picture the temple chambers. The ceilings low, the stones rounded like the inside of a womb. The light that entered was soft, falling through doorways with gentle glow. Inside, the air was cool, carrying a silence so deep it felt eternal. On the altars, figures of the mother were placed. Some were round and full, with wide hips and resting arms, carved from clay and stone. She was shown not as fierce, but as abundant, calm, eternal. Her form was a promise that life would return, that the soil would bloom again, that the people would be fed. Now let your mind drift further east. Far away, across the land, lies Çatalhöyük. It is one of the oldest cities known, built before the wheel, before the plow, before history was written in words. Here, too, the great earth goddess was remembered. Inside the homes of this ancient city, her images rested on walls. Shrines were built where families prayed to her presence. She was painted with red ochre, the color of life and blood. She was carved from stone, her body strong and fertile. The people lived close to the land, and in every part of their days they saw her hand. The hunt brought food. The harvest filled bowls with grain. The mother was there, hidden in the earth, in the animals, in the turning of the seasons. The great goddess was not only giver, but protector. When storms came, she was the one who held the fields in her arms. When sickness struck, she was the one who healed through herbs and roots. Her touch was everywhere, though unseen. She was the earth beneath bare feet. She was the sky opening at dawn. She was the dark soil that received the seeds and gave them back as life. To enter her temple was to step into her embrace. Each stone curved around the worshipper like a mother's arms. The chambers were not built for power, but for shelter, for quiet, for closeness to her spirit. Think of the farmers who knelt there, their hands rough with work, their clothes simple, their lives humble. They brought her offerings, bowls of grain, cups of milk, small carvings shaped by hand. They asked not for riches, but for rain, for sun, for balance. They prayed for the simple rhythm of life to continue, and she answered. Through the slow growth of seeds, through the soft return of spring after winter's cold. Her miracles were not sudden. They were steady, like the turning of the earth. Her blessings were quiet, like dew upon the morning grass. You rest now within this vision of her temple. The stones rise around you, cool and ancient. The air is scented with earth, with smoke from distant fires, with the memory of grain. Somewhere a drum beats slowly, like a heartbeat echoing through the walls. The statues of the mother rest in shadow. Their eyes are closed. Their forms are soft, round, eternal. They do not move, yet they are alive. The stillness itself is her presence, holding all things in peace. In many lands she was called by many names, but always she was the mother. Gaia, the earth itself. Cybele, the mountain queen. Ninhursag, the lady of birth. Each name was like a petal, each story like a river, all flowing into one sea. Her temples, whether carved in stone or painted on clay, carried the same truth, that life is born, life fades, and life is born again. The mother never ends. She rests beneath all things, waiting, renewing, sheltering. Now feel her presence as the earth beneath your body. Steady, grounding, eternal. She is the floor that holds you, the bed that cradles you, the soil that remembers your steps. She asks nothing, demands nothing. She simply holds. Her silence is not empty. It is full, overflowing, alive. It is the silence of seeds beneath soil, waiting to rise. It is the silence of caves, echoing with the hum of the earth itself. The people of Malta carried stones heavier than their own bodies to build her temples. The people of Çatalhöyük painted her with colors made from earth and blood. Each gesture was small compared to the vastness of her being, yet she accepted it all. For the mother is not far away. She is in the smallest seed, in the simplest prayer, in the breath that leaves your lips now. Even in sleep, she holds you. Even in dreams, she surrounds you. The great earth goddess does not fade. She is always here, her temples standing not only in stone but in every field, every river, every body that rests in peace. The stones around you grow softer now. The temple fades into shadow, yet her presence lingers, steady as the ground. The earth beneath you is her temple. The sky above you is her roof. Your heart, beating slowly, is her altar. Let her calm fill you. Let her silence hold you. Let the rhythm of her presence guide you deeper into rest. The great earth goddess is eternal. She is in the first dawn, and she will be in the last. Her breath is the wind. Her body is the soil. Her voice is the quiet hum of the night. Now you drift, as the farmers once drifted into prayer. Now you rest, as the worshippers once rested in her shadow. The stones grow dim. The stars return. The mother's embrace remains. Let us drift onward, into the next dream, carried gently by the temples of the great earth goddess. The night deepens. The stars seem closer, their light soft upon the horizon. A silver moon climbs slowly into the sky, its glow spilling over stone and earth. The air is hushed as if listening. Somewhere in the shadows a quiet sound stirs. The faint rustle of a serpent moving through grass, gentle and unhurried. You rest beneath this moonlight. Your breath is calm, your body lies still. And in this silence, the story unfolds, carrying you back to ancient lands where women stood as priestesses of mystery. Women who held serpents in their hands as symbols of life, healing, and eternal return. In many places across time and distance, the serpent was sacred. It was not only a creature of earth, but a symbol of endless cycles. It shed its skin and was renewed. It moved close to the soil, yet its shape curved like rivers, like lightning, like the winding paths of stars. To the ancients, the serpent was a whisper of eternity. It was birth and death and birth again. It was the unseen wisdom that slid quietly between worlds. And so, the serpent came to the hands of the priestess. Imagine now a temple in Crete. The air is warm, filled with the scent of olive oil lamps. Drums beat softly in the distance, slow as a heartbeat. Within the temple hall, a woman stands. Her robes are flowing, her hair dark as midnight. In each of her hands, a serpent coils, alive and glimmering in the lamplight. She does not fear them. Their tongues flicker. Their bodies move in slow, graceful waves. She holds them high, her eyes steady, her face calm. To those who kneel before her, she is the bridge between worlds. Through her, the mother speaks. Through her, the earth breathes. The serpent is not a threat here. It is a teacher. It reminds the people of change, of renewal, of hidden wisdom that waits beneath the surface of all things. Now let your mind wander further, across the desert sands of Egypt. Here, too, the serpent held power. The goddess Wajet, the cobra, guarded the land. Her image crowned the heads of queens and kings, a serpent rising from the brow, fierce yet protective. But beneath her fire was also healing. The serpent's venom could destroy, yet it could also cure. Its bite was death, but in careful hands, its power restored life. The priestesses of healing knew this. They carried the knowledge of roots and herbs, of venom and remedy, of death and rebirth. The serpent was their guide. It taught them that life is never only one thing. It is both dark and light, both ending and beginning. It coils in circles, eternal. Far away in temples of Mesopotamia, the serpent too was honored. Carved upon stone, it wound itself around staffs and sacred vessels. It was linked to Inanna, the goddess of heaven and earth, whose descent into the underworld mirrored the serpent's passage into the dark and its return again into the light. The priestess who called upon the serpent called upon transformation. She called upon the courage to shed what was old. She called upon the mystery of the underworld and the promise that from the shadow, light would rise again. In Greece, whispers tell of priestesses who spoke with serpents, listening to their movements as signs from the gods. At Delphi, the oracle gave her words with the serpent spirit near, the earth breathing through hidden cracks, carrying vapors from below. The serpent was her companion, her guide, her unseen helper in speaking what was not yet known. The people listened with reverence, for the serpent did not lie. It wound itself close to the truth, deep beneath the soil, where roots drink, where secrets are kept. Now imagine the serpent's movement, slow, flowing, never hurried. It does not march. It glides, curving like water, like smoke, like a thought passing through a dream. Let its rhythm settle into you, a calm winding motion, a gentle cycle of release and renewal. The serpent moves and the earth breathes with it. You breathe with it. You rest with it. In the temples of old, the serpent priestess stood as a figure of balance. She held both life and death in her hands. She was not afraid, for she knew they were one. Like the serpent shedding its skin, she knew that endings were beginnings in disguise. She taught this not with words, but with presence. Her stillness spoke. Her serpent companions spoke. The people felt the truth in their bones. Nothing is lost. All returns. Close your eyes and picture her now. The priestess stands before you, her form glowing in the firelight. In her hands the serpents rest, calm and alive. Their scales shimmer like flowing water, like polished stone. She does not speak, yet her silence fills you. She shows you the cycle of breath. Inhale, exhale, return. She shows you the circle of night into day, day into night. She shows you the turning of seasons, winter into spring. Her serpent's curve, unbroken. Her wisdom surrounds you. Across the world, this image returned again and again. In India, the serpent rose as Kundalini, coiled at the base of the spine, sleeping, waiting to awaken with light. In Norse lands, the serpent Jormungandr circled the whole world, tail in mouth, a reminder of infinity. In the Americas, the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl brought knowledge, breath, and creation. Always, the serpent whispered the same truth, that life does not end. It only changes. It circles back, always returning, always beginning again. As you drift deeper into this story, imagine yourself lying within the temple. The stones rise high above. The air is cool, filled with the soft scent of herbs. You hear the slow beat of a drum, low and steady, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The serpent priestess enters. Her steps are soundless. Her gaze is calm. The serpents move with her, their bodies gliding over her arms with grace. They watch you, not with threat, but with quiet wisdom. Their eyes shine like tiny lanterns reflecting the firelight. She raises her hands. The serpents sway gently, their tongues flickering in silence. And in that moment, you feel the circle of life surrounding you, holding you, protecting you. The serpent priestess is not only in the past, she is here in the rhythm of your breath. Each inhale is birth, each exhale is release, and then the next inhale begins again. A circle, a cycle, an eternal return. The serpent is not far away. It rests in the soil beneath you. It curls in the rivers, it spirals in the stars above. It is in every turning, every return, every gentle rhythm of existence. Now, as you lie still, let this rhythm cradle you. Feel the serpent's wisdom settle in your chest. You are safe. You are held. You are part of the cycle, eternal and calm. The priestess fades into shadow. The serpents coil back into the earth. The temple grows dim. But their presence remains. The cycle continues. The breath flows. The stars shine. Rest now in the quiet coils of eternity. Rest in the wisdom of the serpent. Rest in the silence of the priestess who holds the balance of all things. Her story lingers like a dream. Her serpents glide like whispers of night, and you drift deeper, softer, calmer. Let us drift onward, into the next dream, as the serpent coils around eternity, guiding you into gentle rest. The night is still. A quiet silver glow rests upon the earth. The stars drift gently, like lanterns scattered across the dark. The air carries the coolness of water, the hush of a flowing river. You lie beneath this sky, your breath slow, your body resting. The dream world is near, and in this soft darkness, a story begins to unfold. A story carried upon the waters of the Nile, where the goddess Isis wept her tears of love, and from those tears life was born. In the heart of Egypt, the Nile was everything. It was the thread that bound desert to field, sky to earth, human to divine. Its waters rose and fell in rhythm, as if breathing with the world. When the floods came, the land awakened. When the waters returned, the soil grew dark and rich, and new life unfolded in the fields. The people believed that the river was not only water, it was spirit. It was the sorrow and blessing of the goddess herself. It was Isis, the mother, whose tears fell upon the earth and gave it fertility. Isis was more than a goddess. She was a mother, a healer, a magician, a mourner, and a queen. Her love was endless, flowing like the Nile itself. Her devotion was remembered in every whisper of the water, in every grain of fertile soil, in every green stalk rising from the earth. She was called the Great Lady of Magic. She was the one who gathered broken pieces and made them whole again. She was the one who turned grief into blessing, and it was said that when her husband Osiris was slain, her tears of mourning filled the river and gave life to the land. Picture the desert before the flood. The air is dry. The sands stretch far and wide, empty and silent. The fields lie barren, waiting, thirsty for the return of water. And then, the river comes. It rises from its depths, moving with power, carrying silt and soil, spreading across the land. This rising, this breath of the Nile, was the blessing of Isis. Her sorrow was transformed into life. Her love poured into the earth so that the people would never hunger. Every stalk of wheat, every cluster of dates, every papyrus reed swaying in the breeze carried her touch. The story of Isis is one of devotion. When Osiris, lord of the dead, was struck down, his body was scattered. But Isis did not despair. She searched across the land, across river and desert, mountain and plain. She found each piece, each fragment of him. She gathered them with care. She wrapped him in linen. She breathed magic into him. Through her love, Osiris rose again. Though he would belong to the realm of the underworld, his spirit endured, eternal. And through him, the cycle of death and rebirth became known. Through her tears, life was promised. Through her love, the Nile flowed. Close your eyes now, and imagine standing at the banks of the ancient Nile. The waters are wide, glimmering beneath the moonlight. Lotus flowers float upon its surface, their petals pale against the dark current. The air is cool and soft. Palm trees sway slowly in the night breeze. You hear the quiet rhythm of water against stone. It moves gently, endlessly, carrying whispers of ancient prayers. The river speaks of renewal. The river speaks of Isis. The people of Egypt honored her in temples filled with incense and song. They called upon her in times of grief and in times of healing. Mothers prayed to her for protection of their children. Travelers called to her for safe passage across the waters. The sick called upon her for restoration and rest. Her name was a comfort. Her presence was a balm. Her waters flowed through every life, reminding all that sorrow could be transformed into blessing, and that endings could lead to beginnings. The tears of Isis were more than grief. They were devotion. They were the love of a heart so vast that even loss could not silence it. Her sorrow gave life, her mourning gave growth, her love gave eternity. In this she was both mother and magician. She took what was broken and made it whole. She took what was empty and made it full. She took what was barren and made it bloom. The Nile was her spell, cast each year anew, a spell of life, of promise, of return. Let your breath follow the rhythm of the river. Slow, gentle, endless. The inhale rises like the flood waters. The exhale falls like the river's retreat. And in between, the land rests, waiting for life to come again. The waters of Isis are within you. They move through your breath, through your blood, through the cycles of your days. They remind you that even sorrow has a gift, and even endings lead to new beginnings. Far into the night, the temple of Isis stands tall. Torches glow against its carved walls. Hieroglyphs whisper her story in lines of stone. Priestesses move softly, carrying bowls of water, pouring them as offerings upon the altar. They chant her name, slow and low, like waves upon the shore. And in the hush of that temple, a vision comes. Isis herself, clothed in starlight, wings of a great bird unfolding behind her. She bends to the earth, her tears falling, each drop becoming water, each drop becoming life. The river rises, the land awakens, the people rejoice, though they do not see the sorrow that gave birth to the blessing. Now imagine drifting upon a small boat on the Nile. The wood creaks softly beneath you. The current carries you gently forward. The night sky is clear, filled with stars. The reflection of the moon shimmers upon the surface of the water. The river cradles you, rocking you like a mother rocking a child. You feel safe. You feel held. You feel the love of Isis surrounding you, flowing through the waters, flowing through your dreams. The waters of Isis are not only in Egypt. They are in every river that nourishes the earth. They are in every tear shed from love. They are in every act of care that turns sorrow into comfort. They are in you as you rest, as you breathe, as you drift deeper into the quiet. The Nile flows endlessly. It carries the memory of her devotion. It carries the promise of renewal. It carries you softly into stillness. Rest now in the waters of Isis. Rest in her love, her magic, her eternal flow. Her tears are gentle upon your heart. Her river is wide and calm. Her story is a cradle of peace. Let the waters carry you deeper into the dream. Let the moonlight guide you as you drift. Let the goddess hold you as the Nile whispers. Now rest as the stars return. Now rest as the waters of Isis flow around you. Now rest as the night carries you into gentle sleep. The night is calm. The air is cool. Above, the moon glows like a silver lantern, steady and soft. Its light spreads across the quiet earth, touching trees, rivers, stones, and faces with the same gentle hand. You drift beneath this glow, your breath slow, your body at rest. It is a light that has guided the world for countless ages, a light carried by goddesses of the moon. From the deserts of Mesopotamia, to the temples of Greece, to the forests where hunters walked, the moon was seen as sacred. It was mother, sister, daughter. It was guide and protector. It was a mirror of the cycles of life itself, waxing and waning, brightening and dimming, yet always returning. The daughters of the moon were remembered in song and story. They were called Inanna, Selene, and Artemis. They carried silver light across the skies, each in her own way, each a guardian of the rhythms of night and time. Imagine the world before lanterns, before lamps, before fire touched every street. The moon was the lamp of the people. Its glow painted the earth in shades of silver and shadow. It marked the tides. It measured the seasons. It told women when to plant, when to gather, when to bring forth life. The moon was more than light. It was breath. It was pulse. It was a soft drumbeat that echoed through all living things. And so, people told stories of the ones who carried the moon. They spoke of daughters who rose in the evening, daughters who traveled across the sky, daughters who returned to the darkness only to be born again. In Mesopotamia, one such goddess was Inanna. She was the star of the morning and evening. She was beauty, desire, and power. She was also the moon's sister, linked to the cycle of night and love. Inanna was called Queen of Heaven. When she moved, the world shifted. When she shone, hearts turned toward her. In her myths, she descended into the underworld, just as the moon sometimes vanishes from the sky. And like the moon, she returned, brighter than before, bringing renewal, bringing life. People looked at the changing moon and thought of her journey, waning into darkness, then waxing once more. Her story was a mirror of the moon's endless cycle, of loss and return, of departure and arrival, of death and rebirth. Far to the west, in Greece, the moon took on another form. She was Selene, the shining one. Selene rose each night in her silver chariot, pulled by white horses across the sky. Her face was calm, serene, unchanging. Her light was pure, washing over mountains and seas with a mother's care. In myths, Selene was a lover of the earth. She looked down from her high seat in the heavens and saw Endymion, a shepherd who slept upon the hillside. She loved him so deeply that she gave him eternal sleep, so he would never grow old, so she might gaze upon him forever, untouched by time. Selene's love was quiet, tender, filled with longing. Her silver glow carried both beauty and melancholy. She reminded the people that love can be gentle, silent, and enduring, shining softly even in the darkest night. Then there was Artemis, daughter of the wild forests. She was the huntress, the protector of women, the guardian of birth. Her bow was strong, but her heart was soft for those she sheltered. She was called Maiden, yet she was mother to the creatures of the woods. Artemis moved through the night with the moon as her crown. The silver light followed her through trees, across rivers, and over hills. She watched over women in their times of change, their times of renewal. The moon's rhythm, her rhythm, was a calendar of life itself. To women, Artemis was comfort. She was the whisper in the night reminding them of strength. She was the cycle above, promising return, promising balance, promising light after darkness. Each of these daughters carried the moon in her own way. Inanna carried its descent and return. Selene carried its tender love. Artemis carried its cycles of strength and care. The people looked up at the sky and saw their own lives reflected. The moon grew just as children grew. The moon waned just as elders waned. The moon disappeared just as death came. And then it returned just as life returned, always renewed. In the moon, they saw mothers, daughters, sisters. In the moon, they saw their own hearts. It was never only light. It was memory, promise, and guide. Close your eyes now. Imagine standing in a wide plain beneath a Mesopotamian sky. The stars are sharp and the moon rises full, glowing over mud-brick temples. You hear the hum of distant chants, voices lifted to Inanna. The air smells of incense and cool earth. The moon rests above you, a witness to every prayer. Now let that image soften. You are by the sea on a Greek shore. The waves glimmer silver under Selene's watchful gaze. Her chariot glides across the sky, her white horses leaving trails of light. You hear the soft crash of waves, the endless rhythm of water, echoing the rhythm of her love. And once more, let it shift. You are in a forest. The trees rise tall, dark, and hushed. The leaves glow pale beneath the moon, and Artemis moves between them, unseen, yet present. An owl calls softly. The world feels safe, watched over, guarded in silence. The daughters of the moon were not only in temples or myths. They lived in every night sky, in every river's tide, in every woman's breath. They lived in the steady rhythm of life itself. The moon guided sowing and harvest. It guided birth and healing. It guided travel across deserts and seas. Always it was present, even when hidden. Always it returned, even when gone. The daughters carried this promise across the ages. They carried the light that could not be lost. Let your breath follow the cycle of the moon. Inhale like the waxing light. Exhale like the waning glow. Inhale, the silver grows brighter. Exhale, the silver softens away. You are part of this rhythm. You are part of this return. You are part of the moonlit daughter's story. Now the night deepens. The stars burn steady. The moonlight spills across the earth like a river of silver. It touches your face, your hands, your heart. It reminds you that you are safe, you are held, you are part of something ancient and eternal. The daughters of the moon walk beside you. Inanna, rising and falling like the endless cycle. Selene, shining softly with tender love. Artemis, guarding with strength and care. They carry the silver torch of night. They guide you through darkness. They hold you in their light. Rest now beneath the moon. Rest as its glow washes over you. Rest as the daughters carry their silver path across the sky. Their light is endless. Their love is gentle. Their rhythm is eternal. Let the moonlight cradle you. Let the daughters guide you. Let the night carry you into sleep. Now rest as the stars return. Now rest as the moon drifts onward. Now rest in the arms of the moonlit daughters. The night opens with a hush, and you drift once more into the dream world of ancient memory. A gentle fire glows in the distance. It is not fierce. It does not roar. It is a quiet flame, steady and calm, as though it has always been here, waiting. This is the hearth fire of Hestia, the soft heart of every home, the flame that never seeks glory, yet warms all who draw near. Breathe gently now, as the light of this flame settles into the stillness of your mind. The shadows are tender, the air is warm, you are safe in her presence. In the old world of Greece, temples reached high, gods raced across the sky, and heroes filled the songs of men. But Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, chose another way. She did not wander, she did not fight. Her temple was every home, her altar every flame. Where bread was baked, where children laughed, where prayers were whispered at dawn and dusk, there she was. Her fire was small yet endless. It was the thread that bound life together. Imagine the soft circle of stone at the center of an ancient house. There, a gentle fire glows. The family gathers close, their voices low, their hands outstretched to its warmth. In silence, they feel her. The goddess who does not shout, who does not demand, but who simply gives light. Hestia was the firstborn of the mighty titans Cronus and Rhea. She saw the world when it was new, when time itself was still unshaped. Yet when the gods claimed their thrones upon Olympus, she made a quiet vow. She did not seek the storms of Poseidon. She did not crave the marriage crown of Zeus. Instead, she promised to remain pure, untied, untouched, so that her flame might belong to all. Her choice was gentle, but it was power, for she became the still center, the one place where every soul could return, like a weary traveler to the glow of firelight. The ancients knew this truth. Every meal began with her blessing. Every temple kept a flame for her, even while honoring others. When a city was founded, a spark from Hestia's sacred fire was carried forth, lighting the heart of the new land. No kingdom was whole without her. No family was complete without her warmth. In your own breath now, you may feel it too. A steady rhythm, calm and soft. The fire does not rush. It does not waver. It holds, and it lasts, and it soothes. Think now of the temple maidens who once watched her fire. In the stillness of dawn, they would rise to tend the flame. With careful hands, they placed new wood upon the embers. They whispered prayers in voices low, asking only that the fire remain steady, never broken, never lost. To let the sacred flame go out was unthinkable. It was like letting the heart of the people fall silent. And so it burned, day after day, season after season, through joy and sorrow alike. Close your eyes. See the fire glow. It is gentle yet endless, like a soft star, but near, within reach. Hestia was not often sung of in the great poems. Her name did not thunder in the epics of war. But her silence was deeper than any tale. For while others rushed, she waited. While others claimed, she gave. While others burned with noise, she burned with peace. And so her power was everywhere, even if unseen. Like the breath you draw now, simple, quiet, steady, yet the very gift of life. Stories tell of how the gods once quarreled. Voices rose, storms shook, jealousies flared. But when Hestia stepped forward, even Zeus grew calm. Her presence was enough to soften anger, to remind them of peace. Imagine her there, a quiet goddess, seated by the flame, her hands folded, her gaze soft, and all around her, noise fading into silence. Her gift was not victory, it was stillness, a stillness so deep it carried the strength of mountains. Now let the flame guide you further. You drift back to an ancient village. The evening meal is finished. Children drowse by the hearth. The air carries the scent of smoke and herbs. A grandmother hums softly, her song more a breath than a tune. At the center, the fire glows. It does not fade. It does not falter. It keeps its place, as it always has. Here, life feels whole. Here, all is complete. This is Hestia's gift. Even the wanderers carried her flame. When ships set sail upon dark seas, they prayed to her for safe return. When strangers entered a home, the first kindness shown was the warmth of fire. For to share the flame was to share peace itself, and so she became a bridge between souls. She was the unspoken promise, you are welcome here. You belong here. You are safe. Breathe softly now. Feel that promise in your chest. Like the fire, your breath is steady. Like the flame, your spirit is calm. The hearth fire was also the mirror of the body, for within each person a flame was thought to burn. Not fierce but tender. Not consuming but giving. The inner warmth that kept the spirit alive. Hestia guarded both, the flame in the home and the flame in the heart. And when one grew weary, she gave strength. When one felt cold, she gave comfort. So even now, as you listen, her story flows quietly within you. For every gentle breath carries her memory. Every beat of the heart holds her flame. Her temples were circles of stillness, without statues, without grand walls, for she did not need them. Her shrine was the fire itself, simple, glowing, eternal. Priests and kings bowed to her, not with fear, but with gratitude, for they knew that no rule could last without her. A kingdom might boast armies and ships, but without the quiet hearth, without the sacred flame, the people would be rootless, scattered, undone. And so, in silence, they honored her. In stillness, they prayed to her. Now let the night cradle you. Imagine lying near the ancient hearth. The room is dim, the glow is soft. The fire whispers as it breathes. Outside, the stars turn slowly. The air is cool, the earth is calm, but here inside, warmth holds you. The flame is steady, the flame is safe. The flame belongs to you. This is Hestia's gift. Peace without end. Light without demand. Warmth without fear. And as the flame softens into embers, your breath too softens. Your body grows lighter. Your thoughts grow quiet. All that remains is the steady rhythm, like fire glowing in the heart of night. Let yourself rest in this circle. Let the goddess keep watch. Her fire does not fade. Her peace does not end. Now drift onward, gently, slowly, as the sacred flame glows, as the stars return, as sleep carries you into silence. The dream begins again, in silence. The night has cooled and the sky stretches endless, jeweled with quiet stars. You drift over sands that hold the memory of ages. The desert is vast, yet tender in its stillness. No rushing rivers, no forests thick with sound. Only dunes, like gentle waves frozen in time, and the whisper of wind that carries with it a prayer. Here in the wilderness, the world feels open. It feels timeless. It feels eternal. The air is dry, yet clean. The horizon is wide, yet comforting. The desert does not crowd the heart. It gives space, and in that space, the soul begins to breathe. Long ago, seekers came here. Not kings, not warriors, but women who longed for silence. They walked beyond the villages, beyond the noise of marketplaces and homes, into the barren land where only stone and sand would be their companions. The world called them the desert mothers. They were mystics, women of prayer. They sought not crowns or riches, but the quiet touch of the eternal. Their voices rose not in palaces, but in caves. Their songs were carried by the wind, soft as the drifting sand, and they believed that even the silence itself was listening. Imagine a small cave carved by time, its stone walls cool and rough to the touch. A woman sits within. Her robe is simple, her hair caught in the still air. A clay lamp glows faintly beside her, its flame a reflection of her soul. She does not move quickly. She does not seek to leave. She only breathes, and with each breath she whispers prayers. These women believed the desert was holy. In the emptiness, they heard fullness. In the silence, they found voices not of earth, but of heaven. They spoke to God, and God, they felt, spoke back in the hush of the sands. Some were called Amma, meaning mother, though they bore no children of flesh. Instead, they bore wisdom, like seeds planted in the hearts of those who sought them. Pilgrims came from far away to sit at their feet. They came not for laws, not for commands, but for presence. To sit in the quiet with these women was to learn how to listen again, how to hear the wind, the heartbeat, the whisper of something greater than all. Imagine yourself there, The cave is dim but safe. The sand outside glows silver under the moon. Inside, the desert mother hums a melody without words, a sound more ancient than language. It wraps around you like a gentle shawl. You feel lighter, calmer, as though time itself has slowed to the rhythm of her breath. They told stories, these mothers, though always in whispers. Stories of visions seen in the night, stories of angels in the desert sky, stories of streams that flowed not with water but with spirit. One spoke of sitting beneath the burning sun until her mind felt like fire. Then, in the silence, a bird came, a small white bird, and it perched upon the sand before her. Its wings shimmered, though no water was near. In its song she heard peace. In its stillness she heard eternity. Such visions were not for proof nor for pride. They were gentle gifts, like dew upon the dry land. They taught her and those who listened that even in emptiness life glows, even in silence there is music. The desert mothers spoke often of stillness. Sit, they said, and you will find God. Stay, they said, and your heart will grow calm. In their caves they lived with so little. No silver, no wealth, no crowds to praise them. Yet in their faces was a glow like the moon itself, soft but unwavering. They believed that the desert tested the soul. It stripped away all noise, all distraction, all longing for more. It left only the bare truth. And in that truth they found joy, not loud joy but gentle, like the joy of breathing, of feeling alive, of being held by something unseen but close. Imagine walking through the desert night. The sand is cool beneath your feet. Above, the stars seem endless, their silver light filling the sky. In the distance, a cave glows faintly with the light of a small flame. You step inside. The desert mother lifts her gaze, and though she says nothing, you feel welcomed. Her silence is not empty. It is full of patience, of kindness, of peace. You sit beside her. She does not ask, she does not tell. She simply breathes, and so do you. Time drifts away. Only stillness remains. Only the flame, the breath, the quiet pulse of life itself. They lived simply, yet their wisdom echoed far. When travelers returned from the desert, they carried the words of the mothers with them. Words that were not commands, but gentle reminders. Do not rush, one said, for rushing is a fire that consumes. Be kind to the small, another said, for in the small the eternal hides. And another, silence is not emptiness. It is fullness too deep for words. These sayings passed from mouth to ear, from heart to heart, like seeds in the wind. They reached villages, cities, even kingdoms. And though the mothers lived far from noise, their voices traveled softly through time. You may hear them even now. In the quiet moments of your own life, when the world slows, when the noise fades, when you close your eyes and breathe, the desert mothers are there, still singing in the caves of memory. Their songs are simple. Their prayers are kind. Their wisdom is the same as the wisdom of the sand and the stars. Stay still, and you will see. Stay quiet, and you will hear. Stay soft, and you will be strong. Let the desert wrap around you now. The night is wide, but it is gentle. The sands are endless, but they are soft. Above, the stars keep watch. Beside you, the flame glows steady. And in the silence, you hear a song without words, sung by voices older than time. The desert mothers rest here still. Their caves are not empty. They are filled with peace. They are filled with prayer. They are filled with the eternal hush of love that asks nothing, yet gives everything. Now, breathe gently. Feel the desert wind move across your skin. Feel the stillness seep into your body. Let the wisdom of the mothers linger like moonlight. It does not rush. It does not fade. It rests as you rest. It remains as you drift. The sands are wide. The stars are calm. The caves are waiting. And the mothers sing still, their songs carried by the wind of eternity. So let us drift onward now, as the night grows deep, as the flame grows dim, as the stars return, and as you too sink softly into rest. The dream opens in golden light. Fields stretch wide beneath the sun, their stalks swaying like waves upon the earth. Soft winds carry the scent of grain, warm and sweet, while shadows of clouds drift gently across the land. You walk slowly here between rows of ripening wheat, your hands brushing against the tall stems. Every sound is hushed, softened by the rhythm of the harvest. It is a sacred place, a place where earth and sky meet, where life is born from soil and seed. This is the realm of the goddesses of fertility and grain. For thousands of years, people bowed their heads in gratitude to them. for in their hands was food, and in their blessing was survival. Their gifts were not gold nor jewels, but bread, fruit, and the endless cycle of life returning again. In Greece, she was called Demeter. Her hair was the color of ripened fields, her cloak the green of spring. She was mother not only to her daughter Persephone, but to all who ate from the earth. Farmers looked to her when planting, and prayed to her when reaping. Every loaf of bread, every ear of corn, was her touch made visible. The story tells of how Demeter's heart once broke. Her daughter was taken to the underworld, and in grief, the goddess let the earth grow barren. Fields withered, trees bore no fruit, the people starved. Yet when Persephone returned, the world blossomed once more. From this cycle of sorrow and reunion, the seasons were born. It was Demeter's love, deep and eternal, that gave rhythm to the earth. Beyond Greece, in the heart of Rome, she was known as Ceres. Her name, whispered with reverence, is the root of the word cereal. Temples rose in her honor, filled with baskets of wheat and barley. Citizens brought her offerings, not of riches, but of bread and grain, the simplest yet most precious of gifts. At her festival, the Cerealia, games were held in the fields, and fires lit the night sky. But always at the center was the harvest itself, the humble seed, the silent miracle of growth. To thank Ceres was to thank the earth for sustenance, for warmth, for life. And there were others, too. In Sumer, she was Inanna, who watched over the fertility of land and womb. In Egypt, she was Renenutet, the snake goddess of nourishment, whose coils wrapped around the fields to guard their fruit. In every land, people saw the same truth, that food was holy, that the soil itself was alive, that the harvest was the breath of the divine. Imagine the sound of a sickle moving gently through the stalks, the whisper of wheat falling, gathered into arms, the thud of grain poured into baskets. These were not just tasks, they were rituals, acts of devotion. Every meal began with prayer. Every loaf baked was a blessing. The fields were temples, the barns were shrines, and the women who guarded them were the goddesses themselves. In the soft glow of twilight, after a day's work, a family might sit together in silence. A loaf of bread placed in the center, broken and shared. Children would laugh quietly. Elders would close their eyes in gratitude. And though no goddess appeared in form, her presence was felt in the taste of grain, in the fullness of the stomach, in the peace of the moment. To honor Demeter, or Ceres, or Inanna, was to honor the cycles of earth, the seed that dies into soil, the sprout that rises, the stalk that bends with fruit, the harvest that feeds, and the seed saved to begin again. Every ending was also a beginning. Every loss carried within it the promise of return. Imagine now a great procession. Torches light the night, drums echo softly. Women carry baskets of fruit, grapes spilling over, wheat flowing like rivers of gold. They sing songs that rise with the smoke, prayers woven into melody. The earth itself seems to listen. The stars shine brighter. The harvest festival has begun. Such processions happened across lands and centuries. In Greece, the Eleusinian mysteries honored Demeter and Persephone, promising life beyond death. In Rome, fires blazed for Ceres. In villages, farmers gave the first fruits back to the soil, believing that to share was to invite abundance. The people did not see the harvest as theirs alone. It was borrowed from the goddess, a sacred trust. And so, gratitude was always offered. Let yourself drift deeper into this golden dream. See the fields endless before you. The stalks bend, not from weight, but as if bowing in prayer. The wind passes through them like a hymn, low and steady. It is not hurried. It is not loud. It is calm, and in its calmness, eternal. The goddesses of grain are still here. Every time you see bread upon a table, their touch lingers. Every time a seed sprouts through soil, their breath is near. Their gift is the quiet rhythm of life. Eat, grow, sow, and rest. It is a rhythm as gentle as a heartbeat, as steady as the stars. Now the dream grows softer. The sun dips low, painting the fields in rose and amber. The workers rest, their baskets full, their faces lit by firelight. Children sleep with crumbs on their lips. The old sing lullabies to the young, and in the silence of the night, the goddesses walk unseen between the stalks, blessing each grain, each life. They ask for nothing but gratitude. They give without measure. They are the mothers of the harvest, the eternal keepers of abundance. Rest now in their fields. Feel the earth beneath you, firm and safe. Hear the wind moving softly through the stalks, a lullaby older than words. Breathe in the warmth of grain, the scent of life renewed. You are held here in the arms of the harvest. You are nourished. You are safe. The goddesses watch, silent and kind. Their torches flicker in the distance, guiding you deeper into rest. Let your heart be light. Let your breath be slow. The fields are endless, and their peace is endless too. Let us drift onward now, as the night deepens, as the stars return, and as your spirit, like the seed in the soil, finds its rest, ready for renew, the night grows deep. The stars shimmer like lamps hung in a vast temple of sky. You drift toward the mountains, where stone rises sharp against the heavens, yet softened by moonlight. The air is cool, scented with pine and earth, and somewhere in the distance a spring flows, its waters silver under the moon. This is a place of silence, yet also of whispers, a place where questions once rose from mortal lips, and answers descended like mist from unseen gods. Here stands Delphi, the navel of the world. In ancient belief, the earth itself had veins of power, and at this sacred center, the voice of the divine was closest. Pilgrims climbed the path, their hearts heavy with choices, their hands carrying offerings. Kings and wanderers, soldiers and shepherds, each sought the same thing, the truth hidden beyond human sight. At the heart of the sanctuary was a woman. She sat upon a tripod above a deep fissure in the rock. Her name was not fixed, for she was not one but many, chosen again and again across centuries. She was called the Pythia, the priestess of Apollo, the mouthpiece of the god. Before her, smoke of laurel and herbs would rise. She would breathe the sacred air, close her eyes and drift into trance. Her voice, at first quiet, would tremble, then pour forth words not her own. Some said it was madness, others said it was light, but all believed it was the language of the divine. The oracle did not speak for herself. She was a vessel, a bridge. Her body remained seated, but her spirit seemed to wander, carried upward by unseen wings into realms where human sight could not go. And from that realm, she returned with words that shaped destinies. Imagine now the temple of Apollo at Delphi. Columns gleam like pale bone in the moonlight. Torches flicker at the entrance, their flames bending in the mountain wind. Inside, shadows gather and disperse, as if the gods themselves are moving in silence. The air is heavy, filled with the sound of chanting, slow and low. A pilgrim steps forward, that question trembling in their heart. Will the harvest come? Will the war be won? Will the journey be safe? The oracle breathes deeply. Her lips part. Her voice flows like water over stone, soft, broken, yet carrying the weight of eternity. Words fall not as answers, but as riddles, woven with light and shadow. To hear them was to hear the gods. The Greeks believed that Apollo himself spoke through her. He was the god of light, of music, of prophecy. His temple at Delphi was his heart, and the oracle his song. No kingdom rose, no war began, no voyage sailed without first bending the ear to her voice. She was a guide not only for the powerful, but for anyone who sought her, the shepherd with trembling hands, the mother with sorrow in her eyes, the child with dreams too heavy to carry. All came, all asked, all listened. Her voice was more than words. It was a mirror. It reflected the deep places of the soul. It reminded mortals that the gods walked close, that fate was never silent, yet Delphi was not alone. Across lands and centuries, oracles appeared wherever the veil seemed thin. In Dodona, priests listened not to voices, but to the rustle of oak leaves in the wind. The trees themselves were thought to speak, whispering the will of Zeus through branches and breeze. Travelers would lie beneath the great oak, listening for guidance in the soft shiver of leaves. In Egypt, oracles spoke in temples of Amun. Their words carried like fire across the sands. In other places, water itself gave prophecy, the ripple of springs, the stillness of wells. Always the divine found a voice, and that voice was often carried by women. Women who were trained not to command, but to listen. Women who became vessels of silence, and in silence became the voice of gods. Think of the sound of prophecy. It is not loud, not harsh. It is like the sigh of wind through reeds, like the drip of water in a cave, like the echo of a bird's wing in the still of dawn. The words themselves may fade, but the feeling remains, deep and unshaken. To hear the oracle was not only to know the future. It was to be reminded that the world is layered, that beneath what eyes see and ears hear, there is another current, flowing, eternal. The oracle was a doorway into that unseen current. Legends tell that when the oracle spoke, her body trembled, her hair loosened, her eyes shone with strange light. The people knelt not before her, but before the God who spoke through her. And yet, in her humanness, there was mystery. How could a mortal tongue carry immortal words? How could a human heart hold the fire of gods? The answer was never clear. It did not need to be. It was enough to sit in the temple, to feel the stone beneath you, to smell the smoke of laurel, to hear the trembling voice, and to believe that you were not alone in your search. In time, kingdoms rose and fell. Wars burned, then cooled. The temples faded. The voices grew quiet. Yet the memory of the oracle remained, like a bell whose echo lingers long after the strike. Even now, when you listen to the wind or the water or the stillness of night, you may hear something. A whisper, a thought not your own, a calm certainty rising from within. This too is oracle. For the divine voice does not only dwell in temples of stone, it dwells in every silence, in every breath, in every listening heart. Let the dream soften now. The temple at Delphi fades into mist. The torches dim, their smoke curling upward into stars. The mountains dissolve into night. Yet the voice remains, steady like a distant lullaby. It does not speak in riddles now. It speaks only in peace. You are safe. You are guided. The path before you will open step by gentle step. You do not need to see it all at once. You need only rest and trust the silence. The oracle's song drifts like a feather, light and slow, settling into your spirit. It carries you deeper into stillness, deeper into rest. Her voice has ended, yet it continues within you as calm, as quiet, as sleep itself. Now close the chapter with ease. The oracle has spoken, the mountains are silent, the stars return. Let yourself drift onward, into the dream beyond the dream, into the rest beyond words. The voice of the oracle is now the voice of the night itself, steady and kind, guiding you into sleep. The night opens like a shell. Inside its quiet chamber, the sea breathes. Waves roll and return, steady as the heartbeat of the earth. Moonlight rests upon the waters, silver and calm. The tide whispers against the shore, calling softly, gently, like a lullaby, too ancient to forget. Here, by the ocean's edge, the world slows. Salt hangs in the air, carried by cool wind. The horizon stretches wide, seamless, without end. It is here, in this vastness, that stories rise like tides, of goddesses who guarded the waters, who sang to sailors, who held children in their arms as if the sea itself were a cradle. Long ago, in lands where the ocean kissed Africa's western shores, people lifted prayers to Yamaya. She was the mother of waters, the great mother of all who lived. Her realm was the sea, but her blessing reached into rivers, into wombs, into every beginning. When storms threatened, her name was whispered. When children were born, her name was sung. She was the ocean as mother, vast, forgiving, unending. Her image was carried in memory as a woman crowned in shells, her dress flowing like waves, her arms open as the horizon itself. To call Yamaya was to feel held, to be reminded that even in the tossing of storms, there was a rhythm beneath the chaos, a rhythm that was gentle, guiding, eternal. At festivals, her followers cast flowers into the sea. White blossoms floated like tiny boats of prayer, drifting with the current, offered back to the mother. The sea answered with its own song, a wash of foam upon the sand, a kiss of salt upon the lips. And so, people trusted her, trusted the tides to carry what could not be carried alone. Far across the waters, in the lands of Greece, another vision of the sea arose. Here, the waves told the story of Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. Her birth was a miracle of water and sky. From the foam of the sea she rose, shimmering, radiant, borne upon a shell that drifted toward the shore. Where Yamaya was mother, Aphrodite was lover, soft and luminous, yet powerful as the tide itself. She too was a guardian, not of ships and storms alone, but of hearts, those fragile vessels that wander like sailors across uncertain seas. To call upon her was to seek safe passage in love, to trust that the waves of longing and desire might lead not to wreckage, but to union, to peace. Her temples stood not far from the waters. Pilgrims brought offerings of doves, of flowers, of incense, asking for harmony, asking for safe return. And as they prayed, the sea shimmered in the distance, as if echoing her birth, her promise, her eternal presence in the rhythm of waves. In northern lands, Where the waters were colder and the seas rougher, there was Ran, the Norse goddess of the deep. Her net stretched wide, catching sailors who strayed too far, pulling them into her dark embrace. She was feared, yet also honored, for in her keeping there was stillness, a final rest, a return to the womb of the sea. But even in her shadowed form, the sea was a guardian. For every sailor who stepped onto a ship, for every fisherman who rode into the mist, knew that life rested upon the ocean's breath. They prayed to Ran not only for mercy, but for memory, for those who had gone before, held in her arms beneath the waves. And so the sea taught surrender, to trust what cannot be controlled, to bow to a force larger than the human hand, yet close as the human heartbeat. Across the Pacific, in the songs of Polynesian islands, another guardian sang. Namaka, goddess of the sea, and her sister Pele, goddess of fire, danced in eternal balance. Namaka's waters cooled, soothed, and shielded. She was the salt that healed, the tide that refreshed. Sailors whispered her name as they crossed vast distances, guided only by stars and the rhythm of waves. Her presence was not fear, but trust. The trust that the sea, though boundless, held a mother's care for those who listened to her song. Every shore carried a name for the ocean's spirit. Every people lifted their voices to her, for the sea was too vast to be silent. It spoke in waves, in tides, in storms, in calm, and those who lived close to it knew the sea is both giver and taker, lover and mother, fierce and kind. To honor her was to honor life itself. Imagine now that you stand by the shore. Your feet sink into cool sand. The waves touch your ankles, retreat, then return again. Above, the moon glides slowly, pulling the tide as if by silver thread. The ocean speaks, not in words, but in rhythm. It tells you of beginnings, of mothers, of births, of first breaths. It tells you of journeys, of ships, of wanderers, of hearts that search. It tells you of endings too, of rest, of surrender, of return. Every wave that reaches you is an embrace. Every wave that retreats leaves you lighter, freer, more at peace. Think of the sea as a mirror. It reflects the sky, yet holds its own depths. It is always moving, yet always whole. So too are the goddesses who guard it. They remind us that love is like water, that trust is like water, that life itself flows like water. To Yamaya, every child is a drop of her ocean. To Aphrodite, every heart is a tide, rising and falling. To Ran, every soul finds a final rest, gathered into her net of dark stillness. To Namaka, every journey is guided, every crossing watched. Together they are the sea, and the sea is never empty. Now let the story soften. The waves quiet, though they still breathe. The moon lowers, silver fading to pale. The blossoms cast upon Yamaya's waters drift further, glowing faintly like lanterns upon the tide. The shell that carried Aphrodite glides once more, carrying not birth now, but rest. The net of Ran loosens, not in fear, but in release, and Namaka's horizon stretches wide, carrying every vessel home. The sea is still here. It is always here. Guardian, mother, lover, guide. Its voice is the voice of the night. Its rhythm is the rhythm of your breath. Let the waters hold you now. Float in their calm embrace. Trust the tide, trust the silence. Trust the guardians who watch from the depths. You are carried, you are safe, you are home. Now rest as the sea rocks you gently, as the stars return, as the waves whisper you into sleep. The night is deep and calm. Stars shimmer faintly above like gentle sparks scattered across the endless sky. The air is cool, steady, and filled with a hush as though the whole world waits in peace. You drift at the edge of a dream, listening as the winds slow, and the story opens before you. A circle of flame flickers softly in the darkness. It is not a fire of destruction, but of guidance. Its glow rests upon stone walls painted with the colors of ancient worlds. Here, in this place of stillness, stories of warrior queens are remembered, not with the clash of swords, not with the cries of battle, but with the soft echo of devotion, protection, and sacred strength. The lioness of Egypt, from the deserts of the Nile. A name rises like the morning sun. Sekhmet. She is the lioness queen of Egypt. Her eyes blaze like amber in the heat. Her mane is woven with firelight. Yet beneath her power, there is silence. A silence of deep purpose. The people of Egypt knew her as both fierce and tender. She guarded the balance of life, standing at the threshold between chaos and harmony. When storms threatened the order of the land, she was called upon. When sickness spread, her breath was believed to hold healing. To look upon her was to remember that strength and care live side by side. In temples filled with incense, her priests would sing to her. They would offer bowls of beer, tinted red, so it glowed like blood in the torchlight. This calmed her spirit, turning fire into calm waters, wrath into laughter. For Sekhmet was not only destroyer, she was also the hand that rebuilt, the warmth that restored the world after it cracked. Imagine her presence now. A lioness resting under the golden sun, her breath slow, steady, her heart fierce yet filled with quiet love. She watches over children playing near the river. She guards the farmer tending his fields. She holds the order of the stars themselves, making sure they do not slip from the sky. Her story reminds us that strength does not roar without reason. It is guided. It is sacred. It is the shield that keeps life safe. Far from the deserts of Egypt, across mountains and wide rivers, another queen rises in the folds of India. Durga, the mother warrior, the unconquered one. She is painted with many arms, each hand holding a weapon of the gods. Not because she longs for war, but because the weight of the world was placed upon her shoulders. When the demon Mahishasura rose, shaking the heavens, no god could overcome him. So the divine powers joined together, and from their radiance Durga was born. She rides upon a lion, steady as a mountain. Her eyes are calm, never trembling. When storms of chaos rage, she does not run. She does not fall. She meets the storm with stillness, then with strength. In the oldest songs, her battle is described as endless. Her weapons strike not with anger, but with clarity. Each movement is grace. Each step is poetry. Her victory is not in destroying, but in restoring. She clears the path so that peace may grow once more. Yet in the quiet hours of dawn, Durga is not seen as a warrior alone. She is also the gentle mother. She is the one who rocks the cradle, who soothes the frightened, who blesses the earth with calm rains. She shows that within the heart of a protector lies endless compassion. Her strength is not separate from love. Her love is the source of her strength. Drift with her image now, a woman radiant as the full moon. Her hands a circle of light reaching outward, steady. Her lion resting beside her, breathing softly. In her presence, no shadow can harm you. In her gaze, you are safe, held, and whole. Beyond temples and deserts, far across the seas, stories speak of the Amazons, women of the wild plains free as the wind. They rode swift horses, their bows curved like the crescent moon. Their strength was not born in palaces or shrines, but under open skies. The Greeks told of them with awe, some with fear, some with respect. They were not queens of one land, but guardians of themselves. Their unity was their crown. Their freedom was their throne. Around their fires they sang songs of sisters, songs of rivers crossed, of battles fought side by side. Their weapons were not just of wood and bronze, but of loyalty, courage, and devotion. To be an Amazon was not only to fight, it was to live beyond the limits others placed upon them. It was to walk with dignity, to hold their heads high beneath the endless sky. Imagine them now, a line of riders on the horizon. The sun falls behind them, painting their figures in shadow and gold. Their laughter echoes across the plain, strong yet soft. They are not far from you. They ride not only in history, but in every spirit that remembers freedom. Sekhmet, Durga, the Amazons. Different lands, different tongues, yet their hearts are threads of the same cloth. They remind us that strength can be holy, that to protect is to love deeply, that the sword, when raised with care, can be as sacred as the prayer whispered at night. Their presence does not stir fear, it stirs calm. It is the calm that comes when you know someone stands watch over you. It is the quiet that fills the air when storms have passed. It is the peace of resting beneath their gaze. As you listen now, let their spirits surround you. The lioness of Egypt rests at your side, her warmth steady. The mother of India rides her lion through the dream, watching with gentle eyes. The sisters of the plains ride beyond the horizon, their laughter carrying into the night, the flames in the circle dim. The painted walls grow soft as though dissolving into mist. The air grows lighter, filled with the hush of night. The warrior queens return to their realms, but their presence lingers. Not in noise, not in motion, but in the calm reminder that strength is never far, that protection is never gone, that love, in its truest form, always guards. Let the story fade now, like footprints in soft sand. Let your breath slow, steady, safe. The queens keep watch. Their lion hearts beat softly in the dark. Their grace covers the world like a blanket of stars. Now rest. Let us drift onward into gentler dreams. The night is wide and kind, and you are held within it. The night deepens. Clouds move slowly across a silver moon. The stars breathe softly, scattered like quiet embers across the endless sky. The world grows still, as though wrapped in a blanket of silence. You are drifting at the edge of dream, and the story waits for you. There is a loom in the distance. Its sound is gentle, like the rhythm of a heart, wood touching wood, thread sliding across thread. Not loud, never hurried, only steady, like the tide. This is the loom of fate, where threads of life are woven into patterns of time. The weavers are waiting. They have been waiting since the beginning. They are patient, ageless, calm. They are the keepers of what has been, of what is, and of what may yet come. Beneath the roots of the world tree, where rivers flow with silver waters, the Norns dwell. 3 women, cloaked in shadow and light, tending to the tree that holds all realms. Their names move like whispers in the wind. Urd, Verdandi, Skuld, what has been, what is. What shall be Urd draws from the well of memory, her hands gentle as she touches the past. She shapes the roots with waters that remember every deed, every word, every silence. Verdandi stands in the present, her loom alive with threads that shine and fade, glow and soften. She is the breath of this very moment. Skuld waits at the edge of tomorrow, her eyes turned toward the path unseen, her fingers tying knots yet to come. Together, they weave the lives of gods and mortals. Not with anger, not with haste, but with the care of those who understand the weight of each thread.
They do not judge.
They do not choose. They simply weave. Imagine their presence now, a great tree stretching into the heavens, roots winding deep into the earth, 3 women in silence, hands steady, their loom humming softly like the pulse of the universe. Their weaving is not something to fear. It is the gentle reminder that all things are part of a whole. Every sorrow and every joy, every meeting and every farewell, every seed and every star. Far to the south, under the glow of olive trees and marble temples, the Moirai work in their quiet chambers. The Greeks called them the Fates. Clotho, Lachesis, Atropos, 3 sisters who held the thread of each human life. Clotho spins. From her spindle, she draws the beginning. A soft thread, shining and fragile, yet full of promise. Lachesis measures. With calm eyes, she lets the thread fall across her staff, deciding the length of days, the rhythm of years. Atropos cuts. Her hand is steady as she holds the shears, ending what has been given, returning the thread to silence. Their work is not cruel, though it is final. It is not punishment, though it is unbending. It is the law of time, woven with steady care. Each life a thread in the vast tapestry of the cosmos. Each thread necessary, each thread belonging. Close your eyes and imagine their weaving, a chamber lit by oil lamps. The sisters move in silence, their robes flowing like calm rivers. The spindle turns. The staff glows faintly. The shears rest until the moment comes. And above them, the stars gleam, as though watching, as though listening. Other lands, too, spoke of the weavers. In Rome, they whispered of Parcae, the sparing ones. In the old Celtic Isles, women of shadow spun the lines of destiny with sea foam and starlight. Even in Far Eastern tales, there are stories of celestial maidens weaving clouds, dreams, and bridges of light across the heavens. Each story is a different voice, but the song is the same. Threads crossing, joining, parting. Lives touching, leaving, returning. All part of one design, too vast to see in a single glance. The loom stands beyond all borders. Its sound echoes in temples, in forests, in mountain caves, in the quiet of night when the world sleeps. It is there in the breath of a child, in the steps of an elder, in the cry of a bird at dawn. The loom is never still. It moves always, gently, patiently. The thread is a simple thing, soft, thin, almost breakable. Yet it carries all of life within it. A thread ties a mother to her child. A thread joins friends across distance and silence. A thread binds lovers whose hearts echo in unison. A thread holds memories, binding them to the soul like beads upon a cord. In the loom of fate, each thread crosses countless others. No life stands alone. Every thread, however brief, touches another. Together they form a pattern so wide, so intricate, that only the weavers can see it whole. But sometimes in moments of stillness, you may glimpse it. In the hush of dawn, when the world is painted in soft silver. In the hush of night, when stars seem close enough to touch, you may feel the thread within you, humming gently, reminding you that you belong. Now the loom fades into shadow. The sound of weaving softens. The women return to their silent watch. The threads continue, though you no longer see them. Above, the stars glow brighter, like knots in the fabric of the sky. Each one a story, a memory, a thread of light crossing the heavens. You drift beneath them, safe, steady, a part of the pattern. The Norns rest beneath the tree. The Moirai watch in their chamber of lamps. The unseen weavers hum their endless song. And you too are a thread, glowing quietly in the tapestry of night. Let this truth cradle you, not heavy, not fearful, but soft. You are not alone. You are never apart. You are woven gently into the fabric of time. The loom grows silent. The stars lean closer. Your breath slows, steady as the sea. Now rest. Let us drift onward, beyond the loom, beyond the stories. The weavers will keep their watch. The tapestry will hold, and the night will carry you into peace. The night has deepened. Shadows stretch long and soft across the land. The stars above are steady, their light falling like silver dust upon the earth. The air is cool, quiet, and full of calm. You drift here, between breath and dream, where the veil of the unseen grows thin. Within this stillness, the presence of the Dark Mothers awakens. Not as fear, not as storm, but as teachers who walk in twilight, guiding souls through endings, through silence, into the gentle renewal that follows. Their embrace is not harsh. It is the soft hand that closes a door, the whisper that says, "Rest now," the darkness that heals like deep sleep. The Dark Mothers have always been here, guardians of the passages between what was and what will be. To rest in their embrace is to trust the rhythm of change, the turning of the great wheel. Far across the sacred rivers of India, under skies painted with smoke and incense, the figure of Kali rises. Her form is fierce, her skin dark as the night sky, her eyes burning like quiet embers. Yet beneath her fire there is love, the love of a mother who clears what must be cleared, so new life may grow. Her garland of skulls is not cruelty, it is memory, a reminder that every ending feeds another beginning. Her many arms do not strike in anger. They are the countless hands of time, sweeping away illusions, cutting the knots that bind the spirit. She is the stillness after fire has burned the field, when the soil is black, but ready for seeds. She is the silence after a storm, when the air is washed clean and the earth breathes again. Kali teaches that change is not loss, it is return. Return to truth, return to what is eternal. Imagine her standing quietly now, her shadow surrounding you like a cloak. She is not here to frighten. She is here to cradle, to remind you that nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Every moment, even the ones that end, are threads folded back into the great design. She whispers in the dark, "Do not cling, let go." The river carries you home. In the lands of ancient Greece, when night was moonless and roads met in shadow, travelers whispered prayers to Hecate, torchbearer, keykeeper, guide of souls. She is the goddess of thresholds, the one who waits where paths divide, where choices are made, where endings turn into beginnings. She stands with a lantern, her light soft and steady, guiding those who wander in the dark. Hecate's embrace is gentle. She does not force the traveler to choose. She only lights the way, reminding that every road, even in shadow, leads onward. She is the guardian of transitions, of passages, of doors that close so others may open. At times, she is seen with hounds at her side, their eyes glowing softly, their presence protective. They are not hunters of fear, but companions of the soul, guiding those who pass from one world into another. Imagine her lantern now, glowing beside you. It casts no harsh glare, only a circle of warm light, enough to see the next step, enough to trust the path ahead. Her voice is silence itself, reminding you that you are not lost, you are simply moving. Every shadowed road is only a bridge between one shore and the next. Beyond India and Greece, many lands spoke of such mothers. In Egypt, Sekhmet in her lion form brought plagues and healing alike, destruction and medicine in the same breath. In the Norse sagas, Hel, half shadow and half light, ruled the quiet lands where the dead found rest. In the Celtic Isles, the Cailleach, the old woman of winter, brought frost and storms so the earth might sleep before spring. Though their names change, their essence remains the same. They are guardians of shadow, teachers of surrender. They are the mothers who hold not only birth and life, but also endings, silence, and renewal. Their darkness is not emptiness. It is the fertile soil where seeds rest, unseen, until the time comes to grow. It is the quiet cave where dreams gather before they awaken. It is the long winter that protects the roots, so the spring may return brighter. Endings are not easy, yet the Dark Mothers teach that endings are gentle when held with trust. They are part of the cycle, no different than dusk following day, or night leading to dawn. Every breath ends, yet another follows. Every dream fades, yet another rises. Every season closes, yet another blooms. The Dark Mothers hold us in these rhythms, reminding us that nothing truly vanishes. It only changes form. Close your eyes now and feel their embrace. It is not cold. It is not sharp. It is soft, like velvet shadows. It surrounds you the way night surrounds the world, holding you steady, giving you space to rest. Their lesson is not to resist. It is to surrender, to trust that release is not defeat, but renewal, to know that in every ending lies the seed of another beginning. From darkness, light is born. From silence, song returns. From endings, beginnings unfold. This is the promise of the Dark Mothers. They remind us that what falls into shadow does not vanish. It rests, it transforms, it prepares. The seed buried in soil is not lost. The moon that disappears is not gone. The tide that pulls away always returns. So it is with the soul. So it is with every thread of life. The Dark Mothers cradle you in shadow, so that light may return brighter. They are not to be feared, but to be trusted. They hold the deep rhythms that move beneath all things, the heart of change, the promise of renewal. The night is quiet now. The stars lean closer, their light soft and watchful. The air is full of calm, like a lullaby whispered across the earth. Kaylee's fire rests into embers. Hecate's lantern glows faintly at the edge of the road. The old mothers of winter and shadow retreat into silence. Their work is done. They keep their watch as you drift. They whisper that endings are gentle, that change is safe, that darkness too is a cradle. Let your breath slow.
Let your body soften.
You're held. You are safe. You are carried in the arms of the Dark Mother's embrace. Now rest as the stars return. Let us drift onward, deeper into dream. The night holds you, and the mothers keep watch. The night grows soft around you. The air is still, yet alive with gentle breath, as if the earth itself is resting. Stars scatter across the dark sky like quiet lanterns, and the moon hangs low, spilling silver over hills and valleys. You drift through this calm, through silence that is not empty, but full of memory, prayer, and the quiet strength of women who walked before. In the far distance, a monastery rises. Its walls are pale stone, shaped by centuries of wind and patience. No bells ring here. No shouts disturb the air. Only the rhythm of footsteps, soft as whispers, moving along cloisters where shadows and candlelight intertwine. Here women gathered, not to rule the world with noise, but to embrace it in silence. Here the sacred art of stillness was born. These monasteries of women were never merely stone and mortar. They were gardens of the unseen. Within their walls, words were sparse, but presence was vast. Each prayer was a thread woven into the fabric of the sky. Each breath was a hymn offered to eternity. In the east, there were ashrams where women devoted themselves to meditation, their voices lifted not in song, but in the soft hum of mantras. They would sit for hours beneath banyan trees, the roots stretching deep into the soil, the branches sheltering them like arms of a patient mother. Their silence was not withdrawal, but deep listening. In stillness, they heard the pulse of rivers, the slow turning of seasons, the quiet of their own hearts. In the deserts of the West, there were convents where women lived in prayer. The air was dry, the sky wide and endless. Yet within those walls, time slowed like sand falling through an hourglass. Their days were simple, rising with dawn, tending gardens, weaving cloth, kneeling in long stretches of quiet prayer. But behind this simplicity was a strength greater than steel, for they were guardians of peace in a world often caught in noise and unrest. Picture the cloister of such a place. A long stone walkway encircles a garden. The garden blooms not with abundance, but with modest herbs, fragrant with lavender, sage, and rosemary. Water trickles from a small fountain, its sound echoing gently beneath arches of stone. Candles glow in nearby chapels, where women kneel with bowed heads, their silence more eloquent than words. Some nights, the sound of distant hymns rises, soft as a lullaby. voices weaving together like threads of cloth. Yet often there is no sound at all, only the hush of night air, the quiet steps of a sister moving slowly with her lantern, the turning of a page in an ancient book of prayer. It is in this stillness that one feels the presence of the divine most clearly, like the faint scent of incense carried on the wind. Silence for these women was not an absence. It was a teacher, a space where the heart could unfold. It was like a vast sea at night, calm, dark, yet endless with possibility. In silence, anger dissolved. In silence, sorrow softened. In silence, they came to know peace that no storm could shatter. One might imagine a woman entering such a monastery. She leaves behind the clamor of the world, the weight of voices, the pull of endless demands. She steps into the cloister, and at first the silence feels heavy, almost strange. But as days pass, the quiet becomes her companion. She learns to move without rush, to breathe with awareness, to find joy in simple gestures. A bowl of bread, a candle flame, a breeze through the window at dawn. And in time, she discovers that silence speaks. It speaks without words. It carries the voice of the eternal. There are stories told of women who glowed with such inner stillness that others would travel far simply to sit in their presence. Not to hear sermons, not to receive great teachings, but to rest in the quiet strength they carried. It was said that in their silence people felt healed, wounds of the soul softened, fears loosened, hearts remembered how to be gentle. In ancient lands, these silent women were sometimes called daughters of wisdom. They were compared to wells hidden in deserts, quiet, small, unseen by many, yet offering water that refreshed and sustained life. They were like the moon, not blazing like the sun, but cool, patient, constant, and always present in the night sky. Let your mind drift now into one of these monasteries. You walk beneath archways where ivy climbs in green spirals. You feel the cool stone beneath your hand, smooth from centuries of touch. The air carries the faint smell of beeswax candles and blooming jasmine. A soft wind stirs, moving through open windows. You pass by a doorway where a woman kneels in prayer, her eyes closed, her breath steady. She does not look at you, yet you feel her peace surround you as if the air itself is blessing you with calm. In another room, a woman writes slowly on parchment, her letters careful, her movements unhurried, each stroke like a prayer set to ink. In the garden, another tends roses, her hands gentle in the soil, her silence blending with the earth's silence. Everywhere you go, stillness follows. It settles around you like a cloak, soft and protective. You feel it seep into your heart, easing your thoughts, slowing your breath, bringing you into the same rhythm that has guided countless women for centuries. These silent monasteries of women were more than shelters of stone. They were sanctuaries of the soul. They reminded the world that peace is not found in power, nor in noise, but in stillness. They showed that silence is not empty, but alive. Alive with memory, alive with prayer, alive with presence. The women who lived within these walls became like rivers beneath the surface of the earth, invisible to most eyes, yet nourishing lands far beyond. Their silence carried strength into the world. Their peace flowed outward, unseen but felt, like rain falling gently over fields in the night. Now imagine lying in one of their small rooms. The walls are plain. The bed is simple. A single candle flickers beside you, its flame moving softly, casting shadows that dance with patience. Through a small window, you see the night sky. Stars shimmer, countless and eternal, and in this quiet cell, you feel yourself dissolve into stillness. Outside, you hear the faint sound of footsteps in the cloister. Perhaps another sister is walking. Perhaps she carries a lantern. Perhaps she whispers a prayer for the world. The sound fades, and all returns to silence again. It is not a silence that frightens. It is a silence that holds, a silence that heals. The story of these monasteries is not of bricks and stones, nor of strict rules. It is the story of the hidden strength of women, strength that comes not from force but from surrender, strength that flows not from speech but from silence, strength that does not rise to command but kneels in quiet devotion. And in their stillness, a lesson is offered to all, that peace is not found by chasing, but by resting, that wisdom is not heard in noise but in silence, that love does not always shout, it often whispers. As the night deepens, let the image of these monasteries remain with you, The cloisters, the gardens, the soft candles, the silent women in prayer. Let their stillness wrap around you, as if you too are inside those walls. Let their silence become your silence, a silence full, not empty, a silence that holds you like a gentle embrace. Now rest beneath the silver sky. Let the stars keep watch. Let the soft wind carry your breath. And let the monasteries of silence guide you into sleep, where the soul too learns the art of stillness. Drift onward now, into peace. Drift onward into the quiet embrace of night. The night has grown deeper now. The stars above seem softer, as if they too are growing drowsy. The wind is gentle, carrying the faintest song of crickets in the grass. The moon, pale and patient, watches from her throne in the sky. This is the hour of stillness, when the world leans closer to dreams. And in this silence, an ancient presence stirs. It is the presence of the divine feminine. She is older than temples, older than words, older even than the first dawn. She flows like water through every age, through every story, through every heart that remembers her. She is not gone. She is never gone. She returns again and again, as steady as the tide, as sure as the stars. Close your eyes within this dream. Let yourself drift into the wide field of time. You walk along a path of silver sand, lit by starlight. Each grain of sand holds a memory, each star above a song. The air is warm yet touched by a cool breeze, like a mother's hand brushing gently against your cheek. You begin to see her forms unfold. In one age, she is the river goddess, flowing endlessly, nourishing roots, carrying boats, whispering songs to the stones beneath her waters. In another age, she is the mother of mountains, her body rising as peaks that pierce the sky, her bones firm as the earth itself. At times she is the ocean, vast and mysterious, both calm and storm, yet always holding life within her deep embrace. At times she is the sky, wide and sheltering, where clouds gather like soft robes, and the sun sinks into her arms at dusk. She is eternal, not because she resists change, but because she is change. She returns as maiden, as mother, as elder. She returns in every flower that opens at dawn, in every seed that falls into the dark soil, in every star that vanishes yet shines again. The ancients gave her many names. They saw her in Isis of the Nile, in Demeter of the fields, in Inanna of the heavens. They bowed before Lakshmi, before Parvati, before Durga, each form radiant in its own way. They lit fires for Bridget in the cold north, and whispered prayers to Amaterasu beneath the rising sun of the east. But though her names were many, her essence was one. She was the breath of life, the hidden rhythm of the world. She was the soft strength that heals, the gentle power that guides, the endless patience of the earth, carrying seeds through winter until spring returns. And so, though empires rose and fell, though voices shouted and grew silent, her presence returned again and again. Nothing could end her. For how can one end the ocean? How can one silence the wind? How can one banish the stars? In the dream, you come upon a great circle of standing stones. They rise from the earth like guardians, weathered by rain, kissed by sun. Within this circle, the air feels different, thicker, slower, alive. The stones themselves seem to hum with memory. You sit upon the grass, soft beneath you, and feel her presence moving through the ground, through the air, through your very breath. She is here, not as a figure standing before you, but as a vastness surrounding you. She is the coolness of the grass. She is the curve of the moon. She is the silence between your breaths, and the warmth that fills you when you inhale. This is the eternal return. The reminder that she never vanishes. She is always in the turning of seasons, always in the rhythm of day and night, always in the hidden spaces of the soul. Stories tell us that when the divine feminine returns, she does not return with trumpets or fire. She comes quietly, like dew upon petals, like dawn creeping over the horizon. She does not demand, she simply is. And in her presence, hearts remember what they had forgotten, that all life is sacred, that all beings are held, that endings are not final, but gentle doors leading to beginnings. In ancient myth, she was the mother who descended into the underworld and rose again, carrying spring in her hands. She was the goddess who wrapped herself in shadows, yet emerged with light. She was the one who wept for her children, but also the one who laughed as rivers overflowed with new life. Her dance is endless, falling, rising, fading, returning, always returning. Let your thoughts drift like clouds. Let her presence unfold around you. Perhaps you feel her as a mother, arms wide, voice soft as a lullaby. Perhaps you feel her as a maiden, full of light, guiding your steps across uncertain paths. Perhaps you feel her as an elder, patient and wise, her silence deeper than any book, her gaze filled with stars. She is all these and more. She is the cycle, not one moment but every moment, forever turning, forever renewing. And you too are part of this return. For within you there is a spark of her essence. It glows when you show kindness. It rises when you nurture. It breathes when you forgive. It shines when you rest in peace. Every soul holds her. Every soul is touched by her endless return. The world has always carried her, even in times when people forgot. Even when temples crumbled, even when statues fell, the rivers still ran. The earth still yielded fruit. The moon still rose. The womb still gave birth. And so her temple was never truly broken, for her temple was life itself. The ancients spoke of her as the circle, the never-ending loop, where every ending folds into a beginning, like the serpent that swallows its tail, like the wheel that turns without ceasing, like the seasons that fade yet return with fresh blossoms. The divine feminine is this circle, the eternal breath of creation, forever exhaling, forever inhaling, never ceasing. In the dream, you now stand beside a sea. The horizon stretches endless, silver beneath the moon. Waves move with calm rhythm, rolling, retreating, returning again. Each wave a reminder, nothing is lost. All returns. All finds its way back. You step into the water. It is cool, wrapping gently around your feet, then your ankles, then rising further as you drift. The sea does not resist you. It welcomes you. It cradles you, lifts you, carries you as though you are a child resting in the arms of a mother. The water moves with steady rhythm, like the slow beating of a great heart. This is her embrace. This is her promise, that you are never alone, never cast adrift. You are always held within her eternal return. Let yourself drift deeper now. The waves carry you, yet you are not lost. You float beneath the moon, beneath the stars, beneath the endless sky. And in this vastness you feel at peace. You feel that you too are part of the eternal rhythm. Your breath rises and falls like the tide. Your life begins and ends, only to begin again in ways unseen and timeless. You too are a thread in her tapestry, woven again and again through the fabric of time. The divine feminine is not only in the heavens, not only in the myths of old. She is here tonight, in the earth that steadies you, in the sky that covers you, in the ocean of dreams that now opens before you, and within your own soul, where she rests as a quiet flame. She is reborn in every dawn. She is reborn in every seed. She is reborn in every act of love, every moment of surrender, every breath of peace. Her return is not a single event. It is the heartbeat of existence itself. Now let the night deepen. Let the stars draw closer. Let the ocean of her presence hold you. The divine feminine has returned, not from far away, but from within. She is here, in the silence, in the stillness, in the dream that now carries you. Drift onward into her embrace. Drift onward into rest, for she is eternal and you are part of her circle. She is never gone, only reborn. And so too are you, endless as the tide, timeless as the stars. Now rest, as the night unfolds. Now sleep as the eternal return of the divine feminine cradles your spirit.